Okay, so hey guys, welcome back to another Access Institute video, and in today's video I'm back with another interview and I'm back with Emma Dolan. Emma, how are we doing?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. It is a pleasure to have you back on the channel, and for anybody that doesn't know, you're a super flyweight who's 25 and 5-0, and I mean, we spoke to you on the channel before. You were kind of fresh off your victory in your last fight, and I kind of wanted to have you back on because in these live interviews you don't often get the chance to really kind of delve too much deep into what's been going on in your career. And so just for today, I mean, you've got this fight announced and I thought this would be the perfect time. Of course, you're now fighting on a GBM show against Nicola Hopewell October 6th, and so we'll start with kind of going back to the start of your career and the question which you always like to start off with, and that is, why did you start boxing?
Started boxing from my brother, really. My brother started going boxing with my dad twice a week. I didn't know they were going boxing. They were just going out twice a week, and I sort of felt left out at home. So I started to go along with them, and I was just watching at first. I was quite shy. And yeah, it's went from there, really. As soon as I started, I just didn't look back, and I've been doing it ever since.
Most definitely. And would you kind of say in that, like you mentioned, you were maybe a little bit shy when you first started, would you kind of say that boxing's helped to an extent kind of bring you maybe a little bit more out of your shell?
Massively. I think boxing is so important. Like, I think kids would benefit a lot from boxing being in schools. Everything boxing's given me, the discipline, you know, something to work for, all that kind of stuff. You know, it's really, really good. The mental training it gives you alongside of like physical training is brilliant.
Yes, I totally agree. And so for your first fight, do you kind of remember what happened in your first amateur fight?
The first amateur fight,
Mm-hmm.
that was that was in Kings Lynn in Norfolk. I was fighting a girl who I think she only had one amateur fight. But yeah, it was quite a hostile crowd walking up into the fight. Everybody was saying, "Oh, Chloe, kill her," and all this. But I was sort of just like tunnel vision. Didn't really know what to expect. I got in there, and yeah, it was a full-out war for 3 rounds. It's fantastic. I got the win, and yeah, brilliant.
Amazing stuff. And so kind of throughout your whole amateur career, what would you say was your biggest achievement?
Biggest achievement. I don't know, like box for England. That's quite a good achievement. That's an achievement in itself for me. Yeah, probably boxing for England, representing England, getting to the ABA finals. At the time, it felt like shit because I wanted to win it. Getting to the finals is quite an achievement in itself. Obviously, winning the fights to get there, but probably yeah, boxing for England, representing my country abroad and in the UK, and that was good.
Totally, that's an amazing achievement. And so for your career, why did you end up turning professional when you did?
I turned professional due to COVID. Really, I think like a lot of timing wise, where women's boxing was sort of just picking up, and COVID, because the amateur gyms were closed really all through COVID. I knew the professional gyms were staying open, so the gym I was training at the time, I was training in a gym in London, although I was living in Norfolk, so there was no way I could travel to London in the COVID conditions, and then gyms closed after that as well. So when they opened up briefly, I went down to the professional gym in Norwich with Graham Everett and started training there. And I started to watch a few of the women's fights on telly because it's getting a bit bigger. And I thought, yeah, you know, I really wanted to stay for another amateur season, but at the same time, I didn't know when they were going to come back. So I thought, yeah, now's a good time to maybe turn over. So I did.
Indeed, and from the sounds of things, you've kind of travelled around quite a lot so far. And do you feel like you're now kind of settling down working with Carl Greaves?
Yeah, massively. I mean, I've moved up here, like I live in Newark, so that's how dedicated I am to Carl and that. And yeah, I just feel at home. We talked about it the other day, actually. I've not even been with him for like a year yet, but it just feels like I've known him my whole life. Like everything sort of gelled together quite well, and you know, he's a good crack inside and outside the gym, and you know, all the lads and everything I train with. And the biggest thing is I'm learning loads and can learn a lot. So yeah, definitely a good move for me.
Amazing. And so for your kind of fights so far, which one would you say you've performed your best in?
I think you probably my last one. You probably performed better in each fight, because you're then going up against, you should be going up against harder opposition. I think the best performance is going to come. I think that's going to be the next fight, because I've sort of transitioned from gyms, from transitioning into styles, and I'm more settled for Carl and that now. And yeah, I think that'll be a very good performance coming in October 6th. But yeah, you'd have to say my last fight. I mean, jumped from 6 rounds into a 10 rounder against a champion in her own right. She's a hard girl, Lima. So yeah.
Most definitely. And so, for your kind of, I suppose, achievements from that last fight, of course, you became the first ever super flyweight Commonwealth champion, and now it's all kind of settled in. How big of an achievement is that for you?
Yeah, it's not really settled in, to be honest. I think boxers, well, a lot of them, you don't really appreciate what you've done. Any sports people, to be fair, you don't really appreciate what you've done till it's over. And at the minute, I've got such a tunnel vision that it's just like, that's great, but I'm not even appreciating it, because I'm looking to what's next, and I want to win that, and then I want to step up, and then I want to win that, and I want to step up again. So yeah, it's good, but really it's just something that's going to help me to get to where I want to be next. So yeah.
Totally. And so now you've had these 5 professional fights, would you say that, like, going into a fight, your preparations, you're kind of totally kind of settled into professional games, maybe you're feeling a bit less nerves going into fights now and stuff like that?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, you're always going to get nervous for fights. It's just like different kinds of nerves, isn't it? It's not nerves like, oh, I'm scared of who I'm fighting, or rubbish like that. It's just nerves of boxing, I guess. Like anything, like you speak to a 100-meter runner, I'm sure they're going to still get a little bit nervous at that start line, but you get confident, and you get more confident, and you back yourself more, and that's where you relax. And it's probably the most confident I've ever been with Carl at the minute. He's unlocking things in my game, mentally and physically, that is really going to pay off in the ring. I can see it coming together in sparring and in the gym. So yeah, no, it's all good.
Amazing. And so that kind of leads on to my next question being, what would you say is your current motivation for the sport?
Current motivation for the sport? Loads of things, really. Like, I want to be the best I can physically be, and I think if I keep going in the right direction, that can be all the way to the top. I want to push myself against good fighters. This is a voluntary defence. I've asked for this fight. This fight's happened really because of me and Carl pushed for it. Fair play to Nicola for taking it. There's no shade on that kind of side of things, but we're the ones who pushed for it. I'm the one who wanted this fight. I could have easily fought, not knocking them, but I could have fought some European who's got 50-50 record as a voluntary, and then moved on from there. But I wanted an undefeated British prospect, and I got one. So now I just got to put it all together come fight night.
Most definitely. Let's speak a little bit more about that fight. So October 6th just been announced, I believe, yesterday or the day before, and so you've got a nice long camp for it. How is the preparation so far been going?
Yeah, prep's good. I mean, I'm ready. Like, I just obviously, I'm not ready to fight right now, but I will be ready come fight night, and everything's going well. I'm learning loads. I'm coming on bundles, getting stronger, we're getting fitter, we're getting faster. So yeah, come fight night, we're going to be an animal.
Yes, good to hear. And so for your opponent, you mentioned Nicola Hopewell, and of course, like you mentioned, it's a big domestic fight. How much do you kind of know about her as an opponent?
Yeah, I know Nicola. I've seen her a bit in the amateurs and that, and I've seen her in the pros and that. I've watched a couple of her pro fights on the YouTube and that. She brings some good things to the table. She's got a decent enough work rate in that. I just think my skill set and boxing IQ will be a bit much for her come fight night, but I look forward to it, and I'm going to prepare myself for the best version of her.
Yes, and is another kind of aspect which may play in your favour is the fact that you've now had the experience of that 10-rounder and she's yet to have that yet. Is that going to play into your favour?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I never done a 10-rounder before I fought for the title, and I was fine, and it suited me really well, and it could well suit her well as well. I mean, with the 2-minute rounds in the women's boxing, some women need the more rounds because you're not getting it in the round sort of thing, because you're lacking that minute of extra work in the rounds. The extra rounds are then helping you in the fight. I know it's better for me anyway, so we'll see on fight night, but need be.
Of course, brilliant. And so, like you've mentioned in a prior answer, you kind of push for this fight and you're happy to get it, and you kind of prefer it to getting somebody maybe with a 50-50 record instead. And so, in your kind of mindset, are you now maybe been pushed a little bit more up for this fight and you're a little bit more determined for this fight because it is that kind of maybe more seen on paper as a 50-50?
Yeah, something I can get the teeth into. You know, this fight possibly would have happened in July, but for reasons out of everybody's control, it didn't happen. I could have then went in the ring and fought like as a keep busy fight, and done 6 rounds or something, but couldn't get myself up for it. You know, I said no, just keep cracking on in the gym, and I know this will be waiting for me come September, October time, and it's here. So I'm well up for this. It's something I can really motivate myself for, really train hard for, and I can't wait to get in there.
Amazing. And of course you're on a big show with GBM Sports, and I'm sure if you're wanting to, if you're going to win this fight, I'm sure you're probably going to want to maybe stick around with them for maybe another fight or two. And so how excited are you to be working with GBM?
Yeah, Izzy seems to be a good bloke. He's doing good things for boxing. He's putting really good shows on, especially for the small hall circuit. It's needed. I'm looking forward to fighting on one of his shows.
Indeed. And so for somebody who's maybe never watched you fight before, what would you say makes yourself interesting as a fighter?
I'd like to say, I'm not a cautious fighter at times. I can box really well, but I can let my hands go at the same time, sort of thing. I'm not scared to let my hands go. Everybody comes to watch me box. Say it's an entertaining fight, sort of thing, and I'm sure it'll be an entertaining fight on the 6th. So you have to tune in.
Indeed, everybody should. And so, for your kind of future aspirations, you've kind of touched upon this a little bit, but how far do you believe you can go?
Yeah, world champion, definitely. I mean, the division, I've looked at the division and that. You've got the Japanese girl and you've got a few Mexicans and that, and we all know what Mexicans bring to the table. They're all hard fights, but I believe on my game, I can be up there with them. I can be a world champion. So that's where we're way off it at the minute. We need to get through this one, and then we need to go through the levels again and go up to the other titles, but that's definitely there. 25, so unlike a lot of girls in the game, I've got a lot of time on my side, so I know for sure I'll definitely be world champion by the time I retire.
Amazing. And so, like you said, this is a defence for your title, and so say you win this and you win this convincingly, do you then move to possibly defend it once more, or do you move on to a next belt now?
Personally, if I get through this, and you can't overlook anybody, so I'm not going to, I need to get through this one first, and I need to do a good job of it. Lauren Parker's fighting for the European title. If she wins that, I'd love to have a British showdown with her for the European title belt. I think it'd be a good fight. Hopefully she gets through hers, and we'll have a look at it. But like I say, all eyes are on Nicola Hopewell at the minute, and I'm fully focused on her.
Indeed. And so with you kind of mentioned Lauren Price, I believe she was the first person to have the British title fight for women's boxing. Lauren Parker, my apologies. So I suppose with the kind of whole state of women's boxing at the moment, of course you're the first Commonwealth super flyweight, and is things only going in the right direction at the moment?
Yeah, boxing's moving on the way up. It's going really well for women. Women's sport's great at the minute. I mean, the Women's World Cup's on at the minute, and the level of football's been really, really good from all the teams, really, and it's really giving women a boost. We're flying at the minute with the sport, so it's good.
And for any kind of maybe young girl that looks up to you and sees you as an inspiration, what would you like to say to them when they're thinking of going into boxing?
I don't know who's looking up to me, but just stick at it, be determined, just because something doesn't go your way straight away, stay with it, and dedicate everything to your craft. If you find something in life that you enjoy, whether it's dancing, horse riding, anything, boxing, running, you're going to have to dedicate yourself to it, and you're going to have to work hard at it to get stuff out of it. So probably just dedicate yourself to your craft, because it will pay off. And at the end of the day, I'm very fortunate to be able to be doing what I'm doing. I'm lucky to be able to be doing what I love all the time. Some people aren't as lucky as me. So just put the graft in and dedicate to what you enjoy.
It's definitely amazing. Well, I'll leave with this final question, which I always like to ask you. You've got a little bit of a platform here. Would you like to shout anything out?
Just shout out to obviously my trainer manager Carl Greaves. He's brilliant. Shout out to my sponsors: DP Boxing, Fountain Sports, Andrew Barber, RCP Electrical, and Richard's Quality Meats. Wouldn't be able to do anything without any of them. They're really helped me a lot. So yeah, that's it really. Thanks to all the support I get and all that kind of stuff.
Lovely stuff. All right. Well, thank you very much, Emma, for doing this. It's been a pleasure, and I'm sure some other time we'll end up catching up again soon.
No, thanks for having me on.
Lovely stuff. And so if you are new around here and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you like it, and thanks for